There is a war you were born into, not a war with guns or borders, not a war declared by governments or armies, a war inside your mind, where your thoughts either crown you king or chain you to mediocrity. This war is ancient. It has claimed more dreams than failure ever has. It has suffocated more potential than poverty ever could. And the enemy? It wears your face. It sounds like your voice. It walks in your shadow. It is the version of you that refuses to evolve. The man who refuses to command his mind is destined to obey it. That is the brutal truth most never want to face, because commanding your mind means you must confront it. And to confront it, you must be willing to look directly at every fear, every excuse, every justification, every belief you inherited but never questioned. Is the start of transformation, the burning away of what no longer serves you. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Most people walk around asleep, not because they lack intelligence, because they've never dared to truly wake up. They've outsourced their thinking to the noise of the world. Social media decides their worth. Cycles dictate their fears. Parents define their path. Society sets the bar, and so they become prisoners. Prisoners in gilded cages of comfort, approval, and routine. But if you are listening to this, there's a part of you that knows. A deeper self, an inner whisper that knows you were not born to obey the world. You were born to shape it. That is the first rebellion, the silent revolt against unconscious living. Because everything begins in the mind. Your wealth, your discipline, your love, your empire. Edison didn't invent the light bulb by asking the world for permission. He failed 10,000 times because his mind was trained on vision, validation. Ford saw a world of horse-drawn carriages and believed in machines no one else imagined. Disney was told he lacked imagination by people who had none. And Lincoln was broken, defeated, discarded by politics. His mind refused to accept despair as destiny. So I ask you, what is your mind trained on? Is it trained to notice opportunity or threat, to cultivate faith or rehearse fear, to build or to break, to persist or to pout? Your outer world is only a mirror of your inner order. Command the chaos in here, and the world out there will begin to align. But understand this, the mind is not your friend by default. It is a wild animal. It hunts comfort. It avoids pain. It repeats patterns, even destructive ones, because familiarity feels like safety. You must tame it. You must train it. You must discipline it. Just like a warrior trains his body, you must train your thoughts. Not once, not when it's easy, every single day. That is the price of greatness, and that is why most will never pay it. It's easier to numb the discomfort, easier to scroll, to binge, to complain, easier to hide behind, "I'm just being realistic." But realism without vision is surrender, and surrender to mediocrity is the slowest form of suicide. There is no growth without resistance. There is no command without responsibility. There is no crown without battle. The people who change the world are not the ones with the best ideas. They are the ones with the clearest minds. Clarity comes from stillness, not from speed. You must be willing to unplug, to sit with yourself, to face the silence most run from. That is where the gold is buried. In the uncomfortable space between who you've been and who you were born to become, you will hear the old voices rise. You're not enough. You've always failed. Why even try? Let them come. Let them scream, and then silence them. Not with force, but with awareness. Because the moment you become aware, you are no longer the puppet. You are the master. Awareness is the sword. Discipline is the shield. Vision is the map. Use them. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you take command. Every time you choose discipline over desire, you take command. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you take command. Your mind will resist. It will beg for escape. It will whisper lies so convincingly, you'll forget their lies at all. But if you don't choose your thoughts, someone else will. If you don't plant your own vision, the weeds of doubt, fear, and distraction will grow by default. Because the mind is not neutral, it is fertile soil, and whatever you plant grows. So what are you planting? What stories are you rehearsing? Images are you feeding your imagination? What standards are you allowing to define you? You were not born to be average. You were not designed to drift. Your mind is not your enemy. It is your throne. But only if you rise to it. And when you do, when you finally take the seat of the inner commander, your world will begin to shift. You'll feel your posture change, your voice deepen, your energy stabilize. You'll stop reacting and start choosing. You'll stop chasing and start creating. Because the man who commands his mind commands his destiny. Understand this. The world will test you the moment you take the throne. The moment you decide to command your mind, life will send storms to break you, but to ask you one question: are you serious? Every setback, every delay, every betrayal, they're not signs to quit. They're mirrors showing you who you are becoming. You asked for strength, so life gave you challenge. You asked for clarity, so life stripped away the noise. You asked for discipline, so life handed you temptation. Nothing is happening to you. It's happening for your refinement. Steel is forged in fire, not comfort. Do you want to be inspired or transformed? There is a cost to mental mastery, and it's not cheap. It costs your laziness. It costs your excuses. It costs your old story. What you gain is priceless. You gain ownership of your emotions. You gain clarity in chaos. You gain peace that doesn't depend on the outside world. You gain power that cannot be taken, only given away. And you will stop giving it away. Not to the comment section, not to the past, to people who tried to define your worth from the outside in. You will no longer beg for permission to become yourself, because the greatest act of rebellion in this world is to command your mind in a world built to distract it. We live in an age of noise, infinite scrolls, notifications, manufactured comparison, digital addictions engineered to hijack your dopamine, and with it, your focus, your drive, your soul. Here's the truth. The world doesn't distract you. You allow yourself to be distracted. Distraction is not a condition. It is a choice, trained choice, but a choice nonetheless. And what is trained can be retrained. You must build mental immunity, a discipline so strong that mediocrity cannot infect it. This isn't just about success. This is about sovereignty, the ability to live and think by your own rules. Look at any empire that stood the test of time. Rome, Egypt, Greece. They didn't rise because of chance. They rose because of philosophy, principles, rituals. Greatest empire you will ever build is the one behind your eyes. A mind ruled by vision, not impulse. You want wealth? Rule your mind. You want love? Rule your mind. You want freedom? Rule your mind. Because until you do, every goal you set will be sabotaged by the parts of you still at war, still fighting old stories, still bowing to the past, still reacting to ghosts. And yes, they will rise. You will hear echoes of old identities, the child who never felt seen, the dreamer who was laughed at, the student who failed, the adult who was abandoned. These fragments, they live in your subconscious, and they whisper. But your job is not to hate them. It is to integrate them, to call them by name, to bring them into the light and say, "You are part of me, but you do not lead me." This is not about toxic positivity. It's about radical inner authority. It's about building a throne for your higher self and refusing to step down from it. It is easy to live in reaction, to blame the economy, the market, your parents, your boss, your partner. But that is a mind given over to fate, and fate is nothing but a script you forgot you were writing. The moment you take ownership, real, ruthless ownership, you reclaim your authorship. You realize, I am not the thought. I am the thinker. I am not the wound. I am the healer. I am not the past. I am the pattern breaker, and that realization is the door. But you must walk through it with action. You cannot meditate your way to discipline. You cannot journal your way to wealth. You cannot visualize your way to victory if you will not also act. Commanding the mind means commanding your habits, because your habits are your rituals, and your rituals define your results. Stop saying, "I'll start tomorrow." There is no tomorrow, there is only now, and how you use it. Carnegie didn't build steel empires by waiting for motivation. He built routines. He moved with urgency. He understood time is the only currency that cannot be earned back. So how are you spending it? Every day you hesitate is a day your lesser self wins. Every excuse you accept is a vote for stagnation. Every time you don't feel like it, you strengthen the voice of weakness. And weakness, unchecked, becomes identity. But the mind, like a muscle, grows under pressure. You build mental strength the same way you build physical strength. Through resistance, through repetition, through commitment long after the mood has passed. You rise early when it's cold. You study when you'd rather sleep. You train when no one is watching. You do it not because it's easy, but because it is who you are becoming. That is command. Not control, not force, not self-hatred. Command, presence that directs. A vision that leads. A will that does not break in the wind. And when you live that way, everything begins to shift. People notice, energy changes, opportunities appear. Because success doesn't chase people, it magnetizes to those who are aligned, and alignment begins in the mind.